Okay, now you can go.
Cool. Let's see here. Yes, I wanted to point out to people just very quickly, while we're still letting people join in, while we have our presenter now. Let me share my screen. There we go. So hopefully we're looking at GitHub. I wanted to let people know that there is a new version of PyHC chat that is now out there on GitHub for people to play with. Now I'd like to encourage people to do so. I will drop the link to this repo in the chat so you can use it. What you need is an open AI API key. So if you're already using ChatGPT Plus, you're good to go there. And there is one extra step if you have to get a token for this active loop, which you can just click here to get one using like your GitHub or your Google account or any other kind of thing. But if you got those two API keys, then I've rewritten this entire prototype from scratch at this point, and now it actually works surprisingly well, to the point that I've been using it in my own downtime recently to answer questions about packages when I have questions, or I've even hooked it up to the PyHC website now, so it can answer things about information in our website, like what happened in particular meetings and things like that, which is pretty neat. So yeah, works with mainly the core packages right now, but it has knowledge of, well, it has some limited knowledge of like every other package, but if you just ask it, it'll tell you what it knows and what it doesn't. I've tuned it pretty well at this point. So yeah, I just wanted to let that be known. I'll share a link to this in the chat. And that's pretty much it. So I encourage you to play around with it and give me feedback if you do, because I'm trying to get it into people's hands now that it works.
Sweet. And at some point in the future, you're planning to come on a Telecon and tell us more about this, correct?
Which maybe I could actually ask real quick. Maybe give me a thumbs up if you think we're thinking about presenting PyHC chat on October 30th. That's pretty close to Halloween. Do people think they would be coming to a telecon on that day, or is that too close to the holidays? Give me a thumbs up or not.
That's during the Jack Eddy Symposium.
Oh, it
I
is.
might be the only one going, but if that's the case, you can ignore me.
You say it's the beginning of what?
Jack Eddy.
During the, yeah.
Oh, so we'd be competing with that, huh? Okay.
Well, how many people would be going to that, I suppose? We could push it out a week. That just means we won't have a telecon for like a month.
Gotcha.
If I'm the only one going, just ignore me and go for it anyway, please.
Gotcha.
Thumbs up if you could make it on the 30th then of October.
Yeah. And we got one from John.
Are other people on the line? Cool.
Yay! All right. There's
I'll
a few.
just find the thumb click thing there.
There's at least some people. Cool. Well then, yeah, Julie, let's go ahead and put me down for that date.
Okay, cool.
And maybe we'll check back in closer to see if people have any reservations.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if I usually take off Halloween. Only if I happen to have the day floating, I suppose. In any case, let's go ahead and get started. So Sadiq is online, and in Rebecca Bishop's place, he was going to talk to us about the adaptive project. I chatted with Rebecca about this a little bit. We initially met up at the GDC science team meeting that I went to out at Goddard in July. Sadiq, would you like to talk, or do you have slides to present? I'm not sure what you had prepared exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So before we get into this, I would just like everyone to know that I realized very late that I would be part of this meeting, and I was told very I guess like 5 minutes ago that I would be briefing. So I am I have not prepared a lot, and this is my first briefing. So this might not be the best, but I will try my best to give as much information as I can. But Hi everyone. I'm Sadiq, and
Friendly crowd, and we're interested in what you have to say. So it's
okay, cool.
yeah.
So I joined Adaptive about a month ago, and I've been learning about it as well. So I've been working partly on the development side of the project, and also on communicating with different communities about space tools related to adaptive. And um, I have some charts provided by Rebecca that I can share. Let me put those up. Okay. Cool. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So I'll be going over the adaptive project. This is a very shortened version of the slides. I'm sure sometime later, Rebecca and I could probably go over the version of the slides where we have more information, but this is just a brief overlook on it. So going over the first slide, so Adaptive is a tool that we've been developing for the GDC mission, and we're highlighting expandability, flexibility, portability, and accessibility. And the purpose of it is to create a user-friendly interactive application driven by a data flow node-based software architecture to tackle organization, utilization, and visualization of the science payloads data. And so we imagine we have 6 satellites with 7 instruments, and there is a lot of different types of data that needs to be filtered, examined, visualized for efficient data visualization. And so that's what Adaptive is trying to achieve. Adaptive is a visualization tool that will look at the 6 satellites simultaneously. And we're trying to solve problems that come from having so much data, such as whether it's vectors or anything that might cause um, the visualization to be inefficient and slow. And then we're trying to solve the problem where we're plotting multiple instruments. And if we go on to the next slide, it'll give us a better look at that. This picture right here is it's an artist rendition of a single satellite with 6 instruments, I believe. And what we're trying to do is have this visualization tool public ready, so the public can use it to create images, and also the scientific community can do something even deeper to examine data and do further investigation. And the plan is to have it something similar to like SOAP if you have used it. But it'll be available for anyone to use, and the tool will be animated and movie-like, where you can move around with it, interact with the satellites, everything around it. And yeah, that's kind of the idea that we're going for. If we go further down, this is the adaptive architecture. This I'm not too familiar with, to be honest. I have worked partly in the software end of this. But if I remember correctly, so this is leaves, and the binding code, the coin D, this is the data overlay. And then the OSDM are binding codes that other communities, other tools can use to like communicate with leaves if I'm correct. And yeah, I think this is just more in depth of like how leaves is structured, and I think I would have to talk with Tad or Rebecca more about this, um, but yeah, I think that should kind of be it after this slide. Yeah, this just goes further into the architecture. Um, oh, and this is the unit test of the tool. So this is how we're kind of making sure to check like all the fields, all the parameters are doing the correct calculations. Everything is kind of working within the tool um, before we're actually running it. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to show for now. These charts only reflect like 6 months into the project. There's a lot more progress that has been made, and I'm sure once Rebecca and I discuss this further, we can show the other charts that probably would reflect how much more we've done. But yeah, this is kind of the charts that I was given to show.
Sadiq,
Yeah.
do you just know off the top of your head what kind of progress has been made? Some of the different things you all have implemented since these charts were put out?
I believe currently what we're working on is making because currently we have the tool running from Visual Studio's 2019. We're trying to make it accessible through different Visual Studio versions. So we're working on that. I also believe that Tad has been working on making the tool work with different unit types. So regardless of whether it's in like meters or centimeters or whatever, I think he's just implementing a lot of different unit types. The tool has developed beyond just unit testing, from what you can see right here, to where you can visualize something on the tool. You can see planets and satellites, but not like strongly animated just yet, but just in place so that they are visible. And there is more being worked on beyond that as well, but I haven't had a chance to talk to Tad just yet about what's going on after that.
Okay. It looks like you have a few questions from John in the chat. One, are these slides available? Can we share them with our community?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe I can ask Rebecca to send them over.
Okay, great. The next question, John, I put, how many people are on the development team for this adaptive project?
Yeah, what does the
Uh,
team look like? It's not just aerospace, I guess, or
I believe it's 4 of us. There's I wish I had the chart that showed, but there's 4 of us. There's Tad, Jason, me, and Alan. So there's 4 of us. Tad is the lead developer on the team, and he's been kind of overseeing everything that's been happening. And Rebecca has been the one kind of communicating with different communities and kind of helping us guide through the project and seeing what we can do to further enhance the tool.
that slide says approved for public release, so you're good to go. It's like
Right. Yeah, I could.
no, really, yeah. I mean, my next question is about interfacing with the scientists, because things like this, they're closely tied to what the scientists are doing and expecting. So
Right.
you joined it for a month, so you know all about it, right? But what have you seen so far about, okay, how do you pull in requirements or make sure that what you're doing is what the teams are going to use? Because a lot of people are going to use this.
Yeah, I believe currently they have, I'm not sure if, to be honest, I'm not sure if we've connected this tool with other teams just yet. Because currently we are in a phase where we're still developing some of the key components of the tool. But I think we're getting to a point where we can start thinking about it and seeing what is available out there for other people, that what they want to bring into our tool, and what we can do to interact with other communities. So I think this is just we're at that point where we're just considering what we can do about it.
Okay, and of course I have to ask, if you're transferring data back and forth, I'll put my Happy developers hat on. Happy is a data access interface for time series data. And so it might be worth looking at to see if that's something useful for your system. There's a lot of data that's available that way. More is coming online soon, and it's kind of it's a standard that a server can use to advertise, hey, I have data this way, and then it lets you access tabular kind of time series data from a lot of places.
Interesting. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, I believe that TAD is, I personally, I haven't worked very deeply into the software development end yet. It's been a month, and from what I've looked into kind of how the tool is being built and brought up. And then I've also just been talking with Rebecca and kind of learning more about adaptive kind of from the outside. But from what I do know, I do think they are working with time series data in some way, and I'm not sure if they're using Happy that you had mentioned. But that's good to know. I'll bring it up with Tad.
Yeah, okay.
Are these tools developed in the open, Sadiq? Is there somewhere we could go to look more on the adaptive project itself in these slides?
It is available on Bitbucket, but I'm not sure if that is ready to be shared yet. I'll ask Tad, and then based on what he says, I can provide the link to that.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah,
And if I can jump in just really quickly, you had mentioned a second ago that this was running in, you said Visual Studio 19. Now, is
Correct.
that the IDE made by Microsoft Visual Studio, or is that something different that I'm thinking of?
No, yeah, it is the Microsoft Visual Studio.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yeah.
being developed with Visual Studio. Sure, that's a pretty normal development IDE. But where does this actually run? Like, is it a command line tool or a website or what?
I believe currently it does run only through Visual Studios 2019. We're working towards getting it to work with Visual Studios 2022 as well. So
Well, I'm curious what that means though, because in the Visual Studio is an IDE where you write the code for the application, but like what is being built? Is it a command line tool or a website or like a standalone application? Or that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I believe it is a command line tool. The thing is we're using Qt and CMake, and we're running we're building the tool using the Qt library and CMake from what's available through Visual Studios.
Okay.
And so, yeah, and so since we began development on this tool through Visual Studio 2019, we used packages that came inherently with Visual Studio 2019, and now we're trying to kind of expand upon that and have it working with 2022, from what I understand.
Cool. Thank you.
Any other questions for Sadiq? Well, thanks for hopping online and telling us a bit about the project, Sadiq.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully next time I can be more prepared and, and have more to share.
Sure thing, sure thing.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
And you did better than I would have done with 5 minutes of notice.
Awesome. Well, in that case, before we wrap, John, did you want to share anything about the upcoming Dash meetings, some numbers, exciting things?
I haven't seen the numbers today, but I think there was a little bit of a surge of registrations. A week ago, registration was at 160 with 90 in person. So we're probably looking at 100, 110 in person, maybe. We'll have to see. The person who's working with us on the logistics, we've swamped her with a bunch of other stuff. So we're going to send out info to all registered participants to let them know about, hey, you can start voting for unconference ideas. There will be signups for the event afterwards, which is going to the National Cryptologic Museum. There's a limited number of slots for that. I think that is free, but the group tour thing, they only have so many. There will be evening sort of business party discussion thing at my house on Monday, and we'll have, I guess, like paper tickets for that at the desk when you come in. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a great meeting. We really hope the government doesn't shut down, so all of our government participants can fully participate. Of course, a party at my house is just sort of a private event, so people can come to that, right?
Oh, Rebecca?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about the idea meeting on a similar thing when others. Is that time for this? Is this time for that? Wow.
Yeah, sure. On Dash, I think that's about it. I mean, we've got 85 or so abstracts, 30 posters, and the rest talks. So yeah, it's going to be a great meeting. I recognize a lot of names on this call here, people that are coming. So.
Quick question before you go, Rebecca, and we switch to idea. Did we want to mention that we still have some travel funding available?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we did get NSF money to support early career travel, an early career travel stipend. I mean, Julie did that, so.
I did. It's technically under my name, but you all were heavily involved in helping me get that proposal put together. But yeah, we do have some funding left over. And I think John sent out the link either to new registrants, or have we sent it out to all of the registrants currently?
No. So we'll put that in the info as well. If people want to apply for it's a reimbursement. So just stipend kind of reimbursement that you can apply for. It just didn't come in time. We couldn't even mention it until it was absolutely official with NSF, and that came very late. So that's why it wasn't part of the initial draw for the meeting. So, but yeah, that's available. Thanks for bringing that up, Julie. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Still knowing that you have a question, Rebecca. Joe, did you have a question about what we were just talking about?
Kind of. Is it true that there's a t-shirt vending machine?
What?
I've heard that, I think it's in the adjacent building. There's a t-shirt vending machine.
Yeah, there's APL shirts of various flavors in the t-shirt vending machine for some of the APL missions and so forth.
That's cool. I had no idea that existed.
Yeah, the Dragonfly logos and stuff are pretty cool, or Dart, or whatever the different ones that we've done, and they're pretty cheap. It's I got one.
Will that building be open so we can go raid the vending machine?
Absolutely, yeah. And
Okay.
There's a cafeteria in there too, so I'm sure people will be going.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Okay, I think we wrapped up Dash questions. I mean, if someone has a question, we could come back to it, but Rebecca, I want to give you the space.
Thanks. Quick question. So the idea meeting typically has a bunch of presentations from civil servants. So if the government shut down, what's going to happen to that meeting?
I don't know, and hopefully they can send somebody else, contractor, person who can represent that view. I really am not really sure.
Okay.
Bobby's here. I don't know if he wants to speak to that. Maybe he'd rather not respond officially, but
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think the meetings are going to go on because people are coming in from out of country even. So
yeah.
Okay.
it just won't involve all of us, won't involve me necessarily. I did look in the NASA frequently asked questions for the shutdown, and it actually mentioned that I could attend the conference as long as I re-register privately. But I'd be a little hesitant. The Dash meeting, I could think of doing that, but the idea meeting, I don't know how I couldn't be in my official capacity. So,
Yeah.
I mean, at least go and listen.
I could do that. Yeah, I know, but I'd have to sit in the back and really keep quiet or something. So, which I could do, but
Say no when we throw action items.
right. Yeah, that's true. I'm not here. Or that guy Bobby is not here. Anyway, so I don't know what we'll do about it. I still have high hopes that that the last minute is when Congress gets things done best. So
Be a last minute surge of at least a continuing resolution or something.
yeah, yeah.
We could change the idea meeting to make it more like Dash and say this idea meeting will include the public is openly invited to it. At which point then it's less a committee meeting and more of a general meeting.
Right, yeah. Although that triggers other problems like the NCTS. So
yeah, but it definitely for Dash, the read at least, and Xing brought this up at the Ideas Registry meeting, is yeah, civil servants can attend because it's a free meeting and they can attend as private citizens, just not represent your work or your project. You have to be quiet, and it's Rise of the Contractors time where civil servants should appoint a contractor to speak for the project or give the presentation.
right, yeah. No, I'll have SPDF people there, so we'll be represented. Julie was asking what's NCTS. The NASA sponsored conferences and overseas conferences have to be registered in a system because Congress passed a law to keep to restrict boondoggle conferences or whatever. And it wasn't NASA, actually, it was other agencies that were getting in the press, but or getting bad press that caused the law to happen. But yeah, it's been in effect for a long time. We've had to use, oh yeah, somebody's put in.
How many civil servants are down to give a talk in IDEA? You could just have more time for questions for the other presentations.
That's true.
Yeah, I got the Arnaud sent me the agenda just this morning for IDEA. I can share that here, I guess. Let's go. The intent was put this up on the website. So, oh, I cannot share while the other participant is sharing. So.
Oh yeah, Sadiq, could you stop sharing?
Stop, then I can share this.
Oh yeah, sure. There you go.
Okay, so here's the formalized IDEA agenda. So you can see got those are.
Yeah, looks like a long lunch.
Yeah. And then Brian and Xing again. Yeah, so there's a fair amount. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'll get Andre or somebody to present on my behalf for the ISP metadata, for instance. So,
I could ask Ed Mansky to give my present. Well, yeah, I don't know how comfortable he would be to do that. So that's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, at least it would be presented, I guess. So the back and forth is definitely missing, but at least it lets people catch up what's going on.
Well, Shawn and I should still be able to do PyHC at least. Well, I think that's all we had for today. I just wanted to ask about those meetings in general to see if we had anything fun to share with people.
Yeah, finally sent out the letters. Hey, it's a poster or a talk. Saturday. Just got to use conferencing software next year. We had quite a few people sign up, so doing it all manually has been kind of not the way, but it's working. It's going to be a great meeting.
Gonna be good. Well, our next PyHC Telecon is not in 2, but 3 weeks, I believe, on October 16th, as the Dash meeting will be going on in 2 weeks. Holy cow, it is going on in 2 weeks. Coming up soon. But at the October 16th Telecon, we're gonna have John Niehoff come back since he was sick last time, and then we'll all have a big FEP process overview and discussion period. So get excited for that, and I'll see some of you in a couple weeks at Dash.
Woo!
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Julie.
Yep.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.